What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fan Boss Frequency. My name is Chris. I'm your host, and man, I'm super excited to be here, and I hope you are as well. And let me tell you, man, it's another crazy Wednesday around here. I tell you what, sometimes things just don't cease to amaze me, but it's all good. It's all good today anyway. So today I had a little something on my mind that I want to discuss with you, and it happens to do with your thought process about things that you think you believe. And I'll say this about that. I have never been one to, some things in my mind I just can't wrap my mind around, like electric cars. It blows my mind. Don't understand it. I mean, I do, but I don't. And I mean, what are you really trying to accomplish? And then I got an offer from Tesla in my email the other day. They're like, test drive a Cybertruck. You'll like it. You'll love it. I'm like, man, whatever. I can't afford $100,000 truck anyway. And then, of course, Tesla makes it affordable in certain people's worlds. Let's just leave it at that. And I was kind of looking at the option. I'm like, as much as I drive, that would be awesome. But there's way more to it than I think people realize when it comes to buying an electric car, for example. One of the things I found out, if you buy one of these things in the state of Alabama, it costs you an extra $200 and some change just to get an EV plate. Period. Exclamation point. No questions asked. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's an EV plate. It is what it is. I'm like, wow. So it's $200. Like, no, it's 200 plus whatever, the ad valorem and all that other crap. So I'm like, oh, this is on top of. Yes, in addition to. So if you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, you will save money in certain situations, maybe possibly. But the one thing that, I'll just plug it up in my house. The other thing I learned is it's between $70 and $110 per 1,000 miles to operate one of these bad boys. So how much do you drive? You got to break it down. If you drive a whole lot, it can add up quickly. But like I said, there were just other things. Like I was like, I don't have to do oil changes anymore, and the maintenance is minimal. Yes and no. There's other maintenance, but the one thing that you cannot run is the degrading battery. So the sweet spot's to get this thing and keep it till it's about 6-7 years old, pawn it off on somebody else and get you something else. Pretty simple. And I'm like, wow. But I'll be honest, when the Cybertrucks came out, I was like, man, this is stupid. I don't know why anybody would buy one. Then we got a client that has one. I'm like, that's pretty dope. I got to look at it and it's pretty slick. I've never driven one. I would like to, but they really have kind of put them in the ballpark. I mean, when you're talking about buying $70,000, $80,000 vehicles, you got to be able to afford it. You know what I mean? And not everybody can afford that type of vehicle. So, but it certainly did kind of give me pause for, a moment to say, that might be a possibility. Now the Tesla 3, which is what my son was kind of, eyeing, it makes a little more sense. But again, you're talking about a $40,000, $50,000 vehicle. The battery's degrading every day. It'll never charge as much as it does today, blah, blah, blah. It was very interesting. So that kind of led me down another path. I told you about Truck Week a couple weeks ago. We're still in Truck Week. We're on week 4. The F-150 has a bunch of fun things. It's the cam phaser or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it's basically a $4,500 to $5,000 fix. And I'm like, I'll never buy another F-150 ever again. And then I started talking to these fleet guys that we deal with. And I'm like, what do you guys have? Oh, we have a ton of these or we have a ton of those. Like, that's pretty cool. But everybody that I work with has had the big 3, GM, Ford, Ram. Those are the big 3. And of course, GMC, same thing as a Chevy. So, but they all have problems. Every one of them have their own set of issues. And it all goes back to these stupid EPA rules and, diesel. They just absolutely bastardize these things with DEF and, all this other crap that goes with it. And, I drive a Cummins diesel. And my Cummins is right. All right. It is an amazing truck. I love everything about it. It had some work done to it before I bought it. And I mean, it's an amazing truck. I love it. Love everything about it. And I have other people that have had the same truck and they're just like, that's terrible, and, tuned and deleted is a bad word. Nobody wants to talk about that. You know what I mean? But that's really kind of how God intended these things. You know what I mean? And I know several people that have gone through the process and they're like, they get better fuel economy. The engines last longer. It doesn't restrict. It's this, it's that. It's everything under the sun. So when you run a business, it's kind of like, so what do you do when you're buying trucks? Like, what's the best option? And really, you have to do what works best for you. But I can tell you personally, bought a Yukon 2019. It's not a bad vehicle, but it's a people mover. When you buy one with 130,000 miles on them, my goodness, that thing has seen some stuff. Travel ball, probably, bunch of kids, you name it. My wife loves the family people movers. We just got another one, a Wagoneer. And I'm telling you, like these, if you get them with the higher mileage and this and that, you save money and, they're people movers. But again, they've had a rough life before we ever got them. But the engines, transmissions, and all that, it's the same as the pickup trucks. And like I said, we've had our share of issues with it, but I attribute that to it being a people mover. The Ford was a good truck until it started and all this other crap. So now I'm like, really? So what is it that you're doing for fleet vehicles now? Like, how do you solve that problem? My folks and the utility companies, they crack me up because they're like, yeah, we want people to know that we're being good stewards of their resources. And the F-150 sounds like a race truck. The Rams fall apart left and right. The Chevrolets aren't much better. Like, we don't really have a good option to go to, but we're going with Ford. So I'm like, all right, cool. What else? Talk to another guys. Like, we had a terrible experience with a bunch of the EcoBoost going bad and blah, blah, blah. So now we're strictly Ram, and, they have their share of problems, but so it's kind of a crazy, dynamic we live in right now when it comes to, to buying vehicles and so forth. So it's kind of my rant of the day. If somebody could please figure out how to get a truck to 100,000 plus miles, decent fuel economy. It ain't got to be great, but let's stop the failures in transmissions and so forth. And for the love of God, get us driving again, man. That's all that is my plea for today. That's all I want, man. I just want a truck I can get behind the wheel and have forevermore. Like I said, I love my Ram 2500 with the diesel. Love it. I'll buy another one. But, still, it's like, golly, and diesel. If you drive a gas vehicle, by the way, and you're complaining about gas prices, I'll trade you all day long. Your stuff goes up 5-10 cents a gallon over time. Ours goes up 50 cents at a time. I swear, we're at $5.50 now. So, all right, my rant's over with. Hope you have a great day. If you got a recommendation, make sure you visit the fanboss.com and leave a comment. Make sure you like and share. Share with a buddy. Share with a friend. Bring somebody else to the party. I would absolutely love to help you any way that I can. So visit thefanboss.com. Drop a message there. Feel free to leave a message on the hotline at 855-4-PODCAST. That's 855, the number 4 podcast. And I'll see you on the next one.